Hello sweet people, this is a video aid for the felt watering can tutorial. The detailed list of supplies and the pattern can be found in the PDF instructions available to purchase in my Etsy store via the link in the description. This little watering can doesn't hold water, but it can hold plenty of sweet treats, and if you hide a tiny jar inside, you've got a sweet vase for a small posy. I hope it brings you joy to make. Happy slow stitching, and let's hop right into it. Print out the template and cut out all the pattern pieces as marked. Make 5 holes in the nozzle piece using the hole puncher. Then add holes for eyes and a nose in the face piece. Looking a little spooky, but trust me, it will come handy later. You can choose from the 2 types of the hair pieces for your project. I think they both look equally cute. As you're transferring pattern outlines to felt, make sure to transfer all additional markings. They will assist greatly in the later steps. For the fabric pieces, you will need to follow the layout guidelines on page 8. Make sure to identify the selvage edge on your fabric correctly and use the allowance of 1 cm when cutting out. All ready for stitching up. Let's start the next step from the very top of the bunny, the ears. Pin the inner ear parts to the 2 ear pieces and whip stitch them to attach along the curved lines. Make a small stitch in the tip and leave the bottoms unstitched. Secure your thread at the back and cut it off. Draw vertical lines inside each inner ear with an erasable pen. Then split stitch along them. Pair the stitched parts with the unstitched ones and attach them together along the curved sides, leaving the bottoms unstitched. Follow the link in the description for my tips on perfect blanket stitching. Make a stitch in the tip and continue around the opposite side. And your cute ears are ready. Pin the bunny hat piece to the body of the watering can, centered along the 3rd marking line. Sandwich and then pin the ears between the bunny hat and the watering can at a slight angle but an equal distance from the centered line. The ears will align with the top edge of the watering can, but it's okay if they're not. Whip stitch all around the bunny hat, making double stitches at the points where ears are connected. What I mean by double stitching is making a whip stitch twice in the same place. It is much more secure this way. Align the face piece to the center of the bunny hat. Pin in place. Make sure that the chin nub stays below the bottom edge of the hat. Whip stitch it in place. Align the hair piece to the top of the face, pin in place, and then whip stitch to attach. Looking good so far. Embroider each eye by making a snowflake with 8 points, then split stitch a smile just below the nose. Embroider the nose with parallel horizontal stitches. I usually add a few split stitches around to define the shape a bit more so it looks like an oval. You can draw a few freckles under the eyes if you want, and then embroider them with the same thread, making tiny stitches. Mark the location for the 2 front teeth and make a line for the hair shine. Make 3 stitches for each tooth and horizontal stitches for the hair shine. Grab your yarn piece and make small knots on either end of it and tie a bow in the middle in whatever method you prefer. Position the bow just below the bunny's chin and make small stitches to attach it in place. I also like to attach bows ends pointing upwards for a happy look. Small stitches here and there and you're good to go. Iron your work on wool satin through a thin cloth to erase all the markings. For the last touch I use a dry pastel pencil to draw rosy cheeks, but it's totally optional. Start the next step by locating your handle pieces and folding each one in half. I like using binder clips to hold the pieces closed, because why not? They serve their purpose well, and you don't always need all the specialized tools and equipment for sewing. Blanket stitch the handle along the pinned edge. Continue around to close it completely. Repeat for the second handle and then iron both pieces with a warm iron through a cloth. Remember this pattern piece? It will help us to draw squares at the end of each handle. Trace the square pattern and then make a cross in the middle. It's a little hard to see, but you get the idea. And here's a freeze frame. We'll need to get one handle with squares on the opposite sides and the other handle with squares on the same side. Grab your spout piece, fold it in half, and then blanket stitch along the side to close. Continue on with your blanket stitch from the base to the very tip, but once you're done, do not cut your thread. Instead, grab one of the nozzle pieces and pull your working thread through the point close to the center, and then stitch through the opposite side of your spout to attach them together. Make another stitch across the first one, grabbing both the spout and the nozzle to secure them further. It will look like a tiny cross on top of the nozzle. Keep adding as many stitches as you feel needed to securely attach both parts. And here's the result. Now we'll need to attach the spout to the watering can. Locate the center line of the main body and then pin the spout to it 2 cm away from the bottom edge. Pin both bottom and top. Attach the spout to the watering can by whip stitching them together. Continue on around the base of the spout. Fold the watering can in half, pin it together, and then blanket stitch along the straight edge. When done stitching, gently pull the 2 sides in the opposite directions around the seam to flatten it. Do not pull too hard, just ever so gently. Using the pattern markings, align the bottom and the body of the watering can and pin the pieces together at 4 different points. Here I'm using my binder clips again. Blanket stitch around the circumference. Grab the handle with markings on opposite sides and pin one end of it to the watering can along the side seam. Stitch it to attach along the marked lines to create a square with a cross in the center. Flip the other end of the handle down, pin it to the bottom of the watering can and attach it in the same way as the top one. Secure the end of the thread with a knot under the handle. And we're almost there. Now grab the second handle and pin its end to the front panel just above the bunny's head. Attach it in the same way as described earlier. Now flip the other side of the handle to the back and again stitch it to the watering can. Let's take a moment to admire your work so far. It's only 2 more steps left. To make lining, start by folding the fabric body piece in half, right sides facing together. Pin the sides to match the seam lines. Backstitch along the side. I used to hate backstitching a lot, but somewhat I find pleasure going at it now. Such a slow pace, but the result is so lovely. I think unrushed handiwork is a huge privilege. Anyway, back to reality. Now when this is done, trim away the allowance with pinking shears, leaving half a centimeter of it. Then open the seam to the sides and then iron it. Make tiny notches with scissors around the circumference of the body and the bottom pieces. This will help seam allowances to relax around the curve when sewn together later. Right sides facing together, pin the bottom and the body. Start by pinning them at 4 different points as per the pattern markings. Then, to ensure better alignment, I like to add 4 more pins in between each of the 4 points. And then finally, backstitch around the circumference. Trim away the excess allowance. Make small notches along the top edge of the lining. Fold the top allowance to the wrong side and then iron it on. Pinch the bottom of the lining and insert it in the felt casing, aligning the side seams together. Pin where the side seams are meeting, and then continue spreading the lining inside the cam, matching the top edges. Pin together where needed. You will need to blanket stitch the lining to the felt casing, working carefully around the handles. It might feel awkward to work it, but the result will be worth it. Just take your time. Spread the lining a bit more after you've done all the stitching. And what do you know? It's almost done. One tiny step to go. Grab a length of white linen thread, tie a knot on one end and thread it into a needle on the other. Pull the thread through one of the points on the nozzle piece, leaving the knot on the opposite side. And on the front side, create a loop and then pull the thread through it to create another knot. Cut the thread off and then repeat 4 more times for each point on the nozzle. These are your water jets. Align 2 nozzle pieces together, pin in place, and then blanket stitch to attach around the circumference. You can trim the water jets to your liking, and if they don't seem curly enough, a hair curler can fix the issue. Erase all pen markings as practical, and your watering can is ready. Thank you very much for hopping readily into this adventure. Follow me on social media for more tutorials and crafty life musings. Drop by my Etsy store if you like felt and fuzzy creations. Please help me grow this space by liking, subscribing, and reposting for the like-minded souls. Goodbye.